Today I welcome the lovely Lisa Thompson. So Lisa came to me and wanted to be on the pod to share her story. Now I know Lisa on a bit of a personal level, but I didn't know this about Lisa and I was quite shocked to hear it. What you told me, you were abused at a young age, up until the age of 14.
Probably one of my earliest memories in life. So the age that it started, I've no idea, but probably around 4 would be my first memory.
Wow, Lisa, that's awful.
That sort of carried on then until you realise that this trauma pops up throughout your life and you do need to learn how to deal with it in certain ways at certain times.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of my trauma I've actually forgotten about, is decompartmentalised, and it does come up, and probably at the worst times. Do you know, when you're at your happiest in life, makeup is my thing. I would never have went out without makeup.
Okay.
Do you know, I put that on, that was my mask, and then I could change into this person that was very outgoing and, could speak to everybody. Definitely. It was just a mask. It was an absolute mask. And the worse I was, the more makeup I would have worn. When you think, why?
Hi, I'm Lisa Barrett and welcome to my podcast, The Greater Truth of a Woman. And today I welcome the lovely Lisa Thompson. So Lisa came to me and wanted to be on the pod to share her story. Now I know Lisa on a bit of a personal level, but I didn't know this about Lisa and I was quite shocked to hear it. Lisa, do you want to tell me why you wanted to be on the podcast?
Oh God, Lisa.
You're okay. Don't worry.
Sorry.
No. Take a deep breath.
Deep breath.
Listen.
Know what to say.
This is
it's like a normal conversation.
This is a normal conversation.
Do you know that?
Listen, this is a safe space, and whatever you want to share is entirely up to you. How much you want to share, how little you want to share. Do
you want to go and sit down, maybe, Robert? I think he's standing there too. It's making me out. Sorry.
Don't worry. This is what the pod's all about.
I don't even know what I'm going to say.
Lisa, you're fine. Okay, so you contacted me to be on the podcast, okay? So you're a mother of 2 and you were subjected to childhood trauma.
Yes.
Okay, so given what you told me, you were abused at a young age, up until the age of 14. Yeah. So that must have been very hard, Lisa.
Definitely quite traumatic.
Yes.
Probably one of my earliest memories in life. So the age that it started, I've no idea, but probably around 4 would be my first memory.
Wow, Lisa, that's awful.
That sort of carried on then.
Okay. And that was up until the age of 14?
Up until the age of 14,
okay.
Yeah.
So, Lisa, who was it that...
It was my father.
It was your father?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I can't imagine the impact that must have had. Now, you know my story. Obviously, someone abused me in my family. It wasn't sexual, but it was physical. And it has impacted my whole life. And it's taken me over 30 years to search for these things and find out. And so you obviously knew that this was wrong from a young age. Yeah,
you know that it's wrong, but you've no sort of vocabulary to say what it is or what is actually happening to you. And I think when it starts when you're so young, it's very normalised.
Yes.
So you're not really aware. You know that it's not right.
Yeah.
But you don't actually know what it is that's happening.
Uh-huh.
And I think even at the age of 14, I didn't even really
realise what was happening.
What was happening.
Yeah.
It's such a strange thing. And it does. I mean, it has an everlasting impact in your life.
Of course.
I think it changes you quite a lot as a person. You grow up quite young.
Differently.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you have to be that sort of person because you're used to dealing with this on your own.
Yeah.
Quite.
I know by being raped myself in my 20s, it made me quite introverted. So as a person, Lisa, what way did you become introverted as a teenager, or were you more flamboyant?
No, I was more flamboyant.
I
would have put on, do you know, like a front?
Yes, that was me. I was rebellious for many reasons. And then as I called it self-sabotage in my 20s and 30s. Drink, drugs, just masking my feelings.
Yeah, I've been there too.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's until you realise that this trauma pops up throughout your life and you do need to learn how to deal with it in certain ways at certain times.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of my trauma I've actually forgotten about, is decompartmentalised, and it does come up, and probably at the worst times. Do you know, when you're at your happiest in life...
I actually had this conversation with a a friend of mine the other day, just through voice note, and then somebody really close to me actually said, you know, Lisa, I think sometimes you're frightened of being happy. Yeah, because when you're happy, you're thinking, what's going to go wrong here? Yeah. What's going to go wrong? Because you've known when you've known trauma, severe trauma, you know, you're kind of always on guard. And I know I have PTSD. I'm pretty sure you probably do, Lisa.
Complex PTSD, it's great.
Yeah, so I know, like, for me, the dreams and stuff are horrendous. Yeah. And when you're more stressed or if there's something going on, they're horrendous. I had to get out of bed screaming, or my ex-partner, I'd have been punching him in the bed, you know. It was never safe to sleep beside me. Yeah.
No, I'm the same. Like, so, like, if my partner was saying to me now, you know, you're a disaster to sleep with, the jumping during the night, and, you know, and that would be quite often. Now, thankfully, I think I've got to the age where I don't always remember the dreams. Well, which is nice.
Yeah, I found after therapy, lots of therapy, that I was putting too much emphasis on the dream. So once I was getting up in the morning, I was thinking about it constantly, and going about the day thinking, why is that real? Is it not real? Is this reality?
Yes.
And so I was given too much power to it. So now I try not to, and I just kind of let it go. But you know yourself, you can have one that can just throw you off guard.
Yeah,
completely.
You do. But yeah, your happiest in life, your worst part of your life, do you know, that's when it really, I find personally that my trauma really hits, and the nightmares come back, and you have to then deal with that. You know, it's like, we need to go into counselling again, or we need to, you know, go do different therapies, or, you know, whatever it is that's then going to help you and get you to move on again. Yeah. But it can be quite traumatic during those maybe month or few months that you're going through that.
Did you come forward as a teenager, Lisa, and say that this wasn't right, or was it when you became older?
It was when I became older, Lisa. I kept it quite secretive. I think I've probably told about 10 people this in my whole life.
Wow, Lisa.
I know. And then here I am here. But,
listen, as I said, and you said to me, you were proud of me for doing this. And I'm proud of you. You know, this is your story, and it's something that happened to you, but obviously you've grown from it, you've moved on from it, and you're thriving. Do you know what I mean? Yes, you're still healing, but you're still thriving.
Yeah, no, I was in my 30s, early 30s. I sort of told my mum then, but I was in counselling with Nexus. Yeah. Brilliant, but really, really helped me. Like, so probably one of the best things that I ever done. But that was the year, you know, and I was off work the next day, so I would have went and done my counselling, went and had something to eat afterwards, and then had like a breakdown the next day. Yeah. Do you know, and this was every week for a year.
Wow.
Do you know, it was quite intense, and
it can be. I've spoke about it before when you... I take it, I don't really know much about Nexus. I take it they're mostly talking therapy, is it?
Yes, it is.
You can go up and down, and especially when you have childhood trauma, because there is going to be stuff that your subconscious remembers, but you don't. Your conscious mind doesn't remember. But it does create negative patterns in your life, and I'm sure, as you've told me privately, you know, the kind of patterns that it does create.
It is. It's with having two daughters. I think it was for me extremely hard. Yeah. Do you know, I was thinking, why am I given two girls? Why not boys? Do you know, would have been much easier, I think, on a level to deal with. But I had these almost, she said, like compulsions. Do you know, I would have went, my ex-husband wasn't allowed to bath my kids. He wasn't allowed to change them. He wasn't allowed to wash their clothes. He wasn't allowed to be upstairs when they were, do you know, even showering or going to bed, or do you know, it was all these things that I had
safety,
in place.
That was you trying to keep your children safe and also you safe as well.
Yeah.
And I could create crazy patterns and even silly patterns. Like there was a time where I used to if I had a real rough day or having a rough day, if I was coming to train clients and they see me in a hat, they've been scared shitless. Like, I mean, scared shitless.
You were bad.
Because they're like, she's in a bad mood today, I'm in for it. And it was nothing to actually do with me being in a bad mood. It was actually to me to do, it felt like a protection to me.
Yeah.
But it was just a behaviour that I picked up, and a therapist said that they actually hadn't really seen it more in a female. It was more males that they'd come across. But it was like a safety net for me. And it's only been the last probably 14 months that I've actually stopped.
You're not doing that?
I don't do
Terrifying
it anymore.
Your clients.
Terrifying people by wearing this hat. But yeah, I know. But you have to, you look at yourself and you think to yourself, you know, you pick up these patterns and you feel like, you know, I can laugh about it because, you know, but back then it was like this thing. I was like, why am I doing this? But it was like a safety net. I'm hiding from the world here. Mm-hmm. Did you have any like that, Lisa?
Makeup was my thing. I would never have went out without makeup.
Okay.
You know, I put that on. That was my mask, and then I could change into this person that was very outgoing and, you know, could speak to everybody. Yeah, definitely. Like, it was just a mask. It was an absolute mask. And the worse I was, the more makeup I would have worn. You know, when you think, why?
I was the same in different ways. Like, I had talked about exercise. I abused myself with exercise. Starved myself. The worse I was, the less I ate, the more I exercised, the more muscles I had. So I looked good, but inside I was dying. I was basically dying.
That's me too. Do you know, every time I think people look at pictures, think, oh God, Lisa, you look great there. You know, that was me at my worst.
Yeah, I can actually say I can relate to that. Yeah,
absolute worst. Same thing. I went through a stage where I was anorexic. I really wasn't eating. I would lift off half a tin of tomato soup and a banana a day.
Yeah,
and worked out to death. Whatever I'd done, I had to make sure that I was like negative calories.
Yeah.
Do you know, and literally worked myself.
For all our listeners, this is not good.
No,
by the way,
it's not healthy. Do not do it.
This is not healthy, and this is why I did come into the PT world, was to teach people, because it was teaching me. I was healing myself at the same time, and it was to teach people how to eat better. And I still felt, even sort of when I cancelled the wedding and split up with my ex, I kind of, that wee kick of not wanting to eat kicked in again. Yeah. So it is always there in the background.
I think it's at times it's that trying to have control over
it's
your
control
life.
Yes, because as you know, you as a young child and a teenager, you didn't really have much control over what was happening to you, and it was the same with me. Starting at the age of 2, I didn't have any control of being abused, physically abused, and so it was a way of controlling life for me. So it was the only thing I could ever felt that I could control.
Yeah, that's it completely.
But unfortunately, you're abusing yourself as well.
And you make yourself a lot worse. Do you know, it's not healthy, and it's not a good way to be.
Yeah,
definitely not.
So you spoke about counselling, Lisa, and you've been in and out of counselling. Is it Nexus you go to, or
no? I do have a private counsellor as well now. But it was Nexus for the probably the people that helped me the most, Lisa.
Really?
I've been in different sort of parts of counselling and, you know, with different places and different people. And at times I think it was more re-traumatising than was actually helping me.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they were fabulous. But it was a year of a hard year.
I'm sure it was, Lisa. I'm sure it was. They say, you know, it's like people think when you start to heal, or you're talking about healing, you know, you're magically healed, and we spoke about it in the last pod. You're not. You're actively healing. You know what I mean? Plus, we're humans with human emotions, and you can't heal everything all in one go.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Especially when you've had that kind of trauma.
Yeah. I do think, you do. You have bits that pop up, and then you have to re-deal with those.
Yeah.
And maybe sometimes things that you didn't remember.
Yeah.
And I think they can be the worst.
Yeah.
The worst ones. But yeah, no, I think that's something that you learn to live with.
Yeah.
And you know that these are going to pop up, and when they do, as long as you deal with them.
Yeah.
And try and do that in a positive way. I think, like I was at the stage when I was younger, I drank too much and, you know, dealt with things in not positive ways. I was, anything just to mask that feeling or mask that emotion that you thought that you could get through the day, you thought you could survive.
It was a numbness for me. I wanted to not feel pain.
Yeah,
it was a numbness. I turned to drink, turned to drugs, and it was just so that I could feel numb.
Yeah.
And not feel all these crazy emotions, or not think, I hate myself, I don't like the way I look. And I actively searched to change my body. So I did, and I talked about that openly.
Yeah. You've done such a good job. I have. You've done so well.
What was I going to say to you? So as a teenager, Lisa, did you never tell anybody?
I told a friend. A really close friend of mine, and she's known probably from when I was about 11.
Oh my goodness!
I obviously had to tell my husband when I met him, my partner. You know, it's something that I don't think that you can hide from people.
No, you definitely can't. And when we had a conversation about it as well, we talked about, when we were talking about sex, basically, being touched was quite a, it's a
crazy thing.
It's, especially when you're connecting with someone new. So I hated to be touched when I was with Justin's daddy, and it was nothing to do with him. It rarely happened unless I was drunk. But obviously I'm not at that stage anymore. But now, looking back, it was because I wasn't healed, and it was, I was frightened. Yeah.
I was 18 when I met my ex-husband. So, you're quite young then, and you haven't dealt with anything. And I think you don't have that level even of maturity.
No.
To deal with
so
it.
What age did you get married?
26.
All right, okay.
26, but yeah. Then when I was 18. So
okay.
Long time, nearly 20 years.
So.
She's glad it's right off.
So you are separated now?
We're separated, yeah. I know.
So how long are you separated?
About 3 years. Officially 3 years, yeah. So.
And how the girls cope with that?
They're great.
Because you were obviously together a long time.
We were together a long time. Like I said, the girls are great. They're quite... Amy, my older daughter, she's fine. She's happy enough. I think Emily would struggle a wee bit more with the separation.
Yeah.
But we were back together for a brief period of time.
Yeah.
And then literally just split up again there in October. So,
yeah.
It's a great year.
I know. It can be hard. And that's the thing. I told you before as well. Going backwards doesn't always work because, excuse me, you're trying to do it for the children, or you're actively trying to do it for history. And when you haven't healed as well, I don't think it's good.
No,
it's not healthy.
There's a lot of issues, and God love Michael. He was put through a lot. Of having to deal with my compulsions and emotions, and all these weird and crazy things that were probably completely abnormal to anybody in any relationship.
Yeah.
But he had that to deal with probably most of our relationship.
Yeah.
And it's a lot, I think, too, for your partner.
It is.
When they don't maybe understand, and you're quite... I think I was at the stage then, and I was still very private.
Yeah.
I couldn't speak a lot about what had happened to me.
Yeah.
And it was, I'm sure it was very hard for him.
I'm sure it was. So fair play to him. It is. But and then men and women are so different as well when it comes to our emotions. And like you, not like you, but obviously our trauma is different. But I was suppressing trauma and my feelings all the time, and just hiding it from people, and with like abusing yourself. So you must have a good amicable relationship with your ex-husband.
Well, we do now. Good. We get on fine, yeah.
Good.
Maybe not there for a bit, but so that happens to us, not.
Yeah.
But we're not. We're not too bad.
That's good.
We're civil. So.
No, that's good. You're very brave, Lisa, for coming on and sharing your story. So you really are. You should be proud of yourself.
But it's all part of the healing. I learned quite young that it's not my secret to keep.
Okay.
And I shouldn't be ashamed of that.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You shouldn't be. I actually, funny you say that. I learned that when I went into counselling. It wasn't because obviously I didn't speak out about it, and it kind of killed me because I didn't speak out about it, didn't get them done or anything like that. And I felt that I should have spoke up, and I didn't.
Yeah.
And it took me years and years.
But it's something that I think you need to be quite healed to be able to do it. Like, so, it's not something I think that you can cope with other people knowing.
Yeah.
And that embarrassment and still the stigma.
Yeah.
That's attached to it.
Yeah. There can be a stigmatism attached to many things, as we spoke about before. She's divorced. There's a label. There's a label for everything. That's the girl that was abused, or that's the girl that does the podcast. You know what I mean? It's not the actual person.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's a label, and that's wrong too.
It is. No, definitely.
It is.
It is.
So your girls obviously know Lisa.
Yeah, my oldest daughter knows.
Okay.
Yeah, she's known for quite a while. I think probably, things like even sleepovers, or I wouldn't have let the girls go to sleepovers, I think, until they were about 13. Until I
can understand that having two girls as well. I mean, I have boys, so it's slightly different, but yeah, it would be scary. You know what I mean? You would be fearful because obviously you were in your own home. You were in a
safe place.
Yeah. And I know from my trauma, any trauma that goes on in your safe space absolutely destroys you.
Yeah, it does. It does. I think not that you don't trust people, but you don't allow yourself to trust people. I think until you're there and you're healed, do you know 100% that nothing would happen. Do you know they're happy, they're safe with their father, whatever. My ex-husband, completely and utterly trusted him.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have went out at night and left my girls with him.
Really?
No. Like, they were at my mum's or my granny's. Like, I always left them with a female if I was going out for a night. Do you know?
That must have been very hard. Must have been hard for him too, Lisa.
Yeah, definitely. I think he struggled quite a bit and struggled with not understanding that I do trust him. Like, this isn't you.
It's not about
this is me. Like, this is
it's
me.
It's not about you. It's about
I just couldn't have went out and enjoyed a night. Do you know? I wouldn't have been able to calm down or sleep, or we're staying out, staying in a friend's house or sleep, or no, it just would have destroyed me.
Yeah. When I opened up about being raped on actually Josh Clark's podcast, I actually had to sit Justin down at the age of 13 and tell him I had been raped, because obviously it went on to social media and I was worried about it. Well, not worried about it, but I wanted to be open and honest, and it was a good way to have a sexual, conversation about sex and stuff too. And we actually did it on holiday, and I did feel good about it and felt proud, and the way we had a conversation about it was good. And yeah, he told me he was proud of me and he understood what had happened to me. And yeah, it was. I know.
That's amazing. That is good.
He is. He's a good wee boy.
He's lovely.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know him too.
Yeah. No, but it is. I think it's important. That your kids know, and I think it's important that it comes from you.
Yeah.
Do you know? You don't want to find out from anybody else, or I think it's hard to hide.
Yeah.
I think for me, my girls always knew there was something. Do you know there was something there?
Yeah.
So yeah, telling them it was a relief for me too. Do you know this is
sure
why I'm like this?
Yeah.
This is why. But thankfully, a lot of counselling and a lot of different therapies and healing. I'm not like that anymore, which is great.
So do you still suffer from anxiety, Lisa?
Severe, yeah. I would probably have severe anxiety, social anxiety, hate going out.
Yeah.
Terrible. Like, there can be days that I don't want to go to Tesco's. I just can't face the world.
I really suffered from that battle. And funny, Tesco's was one that always came up for me.
Don't know what it is, but Tesco's. Too many people.
I know. So I got to the stage where I was only going probably about 10 o'clock at night. Between 10 and 11 at night, that was my my time to go. Mm-hmm. And even then, I would have maybe sat in the car and either panicked or put the head in the hands and go, "Hi, you can do this. But as one of the other therapists that was on the pod, she said, anxiety is a great equalizer. It doesn't matter whether you're a judge or whether what you are. It brings everybody down to the same level.
Yeah.
And some people hide it well, and then others don't. It can be written all over you,
Yeah,
it comes out in different ways.
It's like when I moved in, obviously, me and Lisa are neighbours. Yes, we're neighbours. So I did actually Uber a pot noodle from Sainsbury's. I just moved in, and the anxiety, so much going on at one time, and obviously breakdown of my marriage, relationship. Then two of my grandfathers died. I had a lot maybe in 1 year.
Wow, Lisa.
And I was living with my mum for a while. That was traumatising.
I've been there. I did that during COVID, and it was not
no. 3 months. 3 months until we found a place, and that was days work. We're too similar. Lisa. Yeah, I Ubered one pot noodle of her. I think it was like 7 pounds. 5 minutes away walk after 3 hours of like deliberating. Can I go to Sainsbury's? Like, can I walk across the car park?
But that is how it makes you feel. It totally takes you out of, and when you're in that frame of mind and you're like, it was like going back to me with a hat. It's like, I felt that I was protected when I put this hat on. So if I had to go somewhere and was in this state, then the fucking hat went off. Do you know what I mean? So please don't look at me. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. Do you know what I mean?
I know. It is.
But that's it's funny, but it's not funny.
Yeah. Usually I'm able to talk myself out of it, but this went on 3 hours later. I thought, I'm starving. Like, if only moved in if no food. To get a pot noodle.
Yeah. Even a pot noodle. You had to have a pot noodle, not even a takeaway, Lisa.
No, I just fancied a Bombay bad boy. I had to get out over it.
Oh, that's brilliant.
ridiculous.
I know, but it is. You do some crazy things. It does make you do some crazy things. And as I said, like patterns and stuff as well. Like you pick up crazy patterns.
You do. No, you do. But I think it makes you, as a person, I think I am so strong.
Yeah.
Do you know, I think, and I'm sure you're I know you're the same, Lisa.
Yeah.
You do, you build this real resilience, I think, at a young age, and you're so used to dealing with everything on your own.
Yeah.
Your problems on your own. So, yeah, it's great. It's great when you're older. It works well.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's growing up too quick. I think that's the
you do.
The killer.
You grow up too quick, and the world, is a scary place, and you put on a mask, as you say, you put on a mask, and you basically hide it. Fuck it, I'm all right. I'm fine. You know, it's not me. I'm good.
Falling apart inside, and everybody's going, "You look great.
You look amazing."
Yeah,
you
look
amazing.
Like I'm dying. I haven't ate properly in days, or do you know, I'm really suffering. I can't sleep. Do you know, it's all this that people don't see because you pretend that you're fine.
Yeah, I know. It's So what made you, did anything happen to you, Lisa, at the age of 30 that it made you spring into like counselling?
Yeah, it was the compulsions, Lisa.
Okay.
You know, they literally got to the stage where they were ridiculous. So it turned from maybe 5 things to 10 things that I would do, or, do you know, 20, do you know, like all these things, not leaving the kids alone at all and having to do everything on my own.
Yeah.
Because that was me. That was my way of thinking that my girls were protected then. For some reason that wouldn't happen to them.
I can relate to that, yeah.
Do you know, it's this, like obviously you know that it doesn't make sense, but you can't stop yourself
from doing it. Yeah.
So these 5 things maybe turned into 10 or 15. And then that was at least I was exhausted. I had literally like burnt myself to the ground.
Yeah.
Do you know, I was just burnt out. And I was working full time, you know, looking after 2 girls and obviously doing absolutely everything in the house and never getting a break because you're afraid of leaving them.
Yeah.
So it was just doing this constantly, and I thought, actually, you know, this isn't normal.
Yeah.
I need to get help. And that was at the time, yeah. So started to counselling, told close family members when I was able to, but even that was months in, Lisa, you know.
Yeah, I know myself from being in counselling, like the first while, it was like dancing around, you know. I remember going in, and at the end of the session, the girl said to me, "You're not okay, Lisa." And I was like, I was all dressed to the nines, hair all curled, and she's like, "You're not okay. This is the worst I've seen you." And well, it was one of the worst times. It was just before I moved into my own place on my own, and it was one of the worst times for me. I was so low, and just everything was hiding. But as I became more flamboyant, the hair, everything,
like when definitely I can relate to that. Like I was exactly the same. Always stressed, you know, always full makeup, hair done. Like I wouldn't have left the house. I wouldn't have went shopping unless I looked like that. Just everything to perfection, and the kids as well.
Yeah,
do you know? And that's just like a full coping mechanism. Like everything's okay.
Yeah, the need for perfectionism. I've seen that quite a lot, especially with people with anxiety. I've seen it with myself.
Yeah,
I used to be, as I had said before, I've had a lot of death around Christmas time and stuff as well. And just obviously having trauma, you want special occasions to be so perfect and whatever. And as time went on and other things happened around Christmas was always shit.
Yeah.
Do you know? And which is why I went away last year to try and change that just for me and Justin, because the year before I was just miserable.
Yeah. Well, I can relate. Like, you know, I had the worst Christmas ever.
Yes.
This year. Do you know? Yeah, it's hard. It is hard.
Yeah. So what kind of patterns were you doing, or what kind of sort of things were you doing, Lisa? Like
it's like I mean, obsessively cleaning. Like that was one.
Yes,
cleaning
well, you
was
see,
like therapy.
I still have a wee obsession
no,
around cleaning. I can't go out for a night out unless
everything's spotless.
I don't know where that comes from. But reading up on it, as I think I said this to you, Lisa, you can pick up ADHD tendencies, but they aren't it isn't actually ADHD. It's due to trauma, like compulsive disorders because of it. And yeah, cleaning's one of mine. So it is vigorous.
It's a good thing.
It is a good thing. It can be a good thing, but
sometimes
I can't get ready for a night out unless everything is clean. You know?
No, I'm the same. I can't sit down at night until like all the housework's
done. Yeah.
Partner loves it now. We're in his house. He's like, he's loving life.
Because he doesn't have to do it.
He's back in the whole house and stuff. I was like obsessively cleaning. Yeah, no, I've always been like that. But it got really bad. You know, you were cleaning, like I was coming home from work and hoovering and mopping every day.
Yeah.
Like there's just no need. And re-cleaning bathrooms and cleaning stuff that was clean, you know.
Yeah.
And you just get to a stage where actually, and then all those other wee compulsions that I had about clothes and, you know, their dad not being allowed anywhere near them or upstairs or in their room at night. Like, do you know, it was all these sort of things, and I didn't really sleep.
Yeah.
I think I went through a period of time where my sleeping was awful.
When your sleeping's off, Lisa, it derails your whole day, you know.
It does.
And with the PTSD, as you know, when you're having the lucid dreams and stuff, it rails your whole day. So
yeah. No, I would still be like that now if I have sort of one of my trauma dreams.
Yeah.
I call them. Yeah, no, I would be up, maybe wake up at 2 and actually up to maybe 4 or 5.
5, and then you wouldn't.
And then you fall asleep again. Do you know, it's that part in the middle of the night that is like the worst place to be.
Say you're kind of, the things that were happening to me were happening at night, so I was finding that I wasn't going to sleep, to maybe proper sleep, to like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'd have been dead, you know, dead to the world.
Daylight.
And then like couldn't get up, and then obviously fibromyalgia on top of that as well.
Oh God,
yeah, I know.
It's not easy, but yeah, no, I'd be the same. I think during the day I felt safe, so I could sleep, but at night it was like, this unsafe place, or you knew what had happened to you at that time, or do you know, mine was the same, like my abuse was at night.
Yeah.
And it was, never like a safe place.
Yeah. It is. That's where a lot of the behaviours come from as well. But going back to the cleaning, I mean, the other week, I thought mine's died down, and it has died down a good wee bit. But the cleaning, I had got this into my head, and like, this is me being not well as well. I obviously haven't been well for a couple of weeks, and nothing would do till I cleaned every floor with a carpet cleaner. I couldn't go to bed. My ankles were sore by the time I was going to bed. I was like, and when I finished, I was like, Lisa, why did you 4 hours? Yeah, just so that I could get that ticked off in my head. But I would think it was like me punishing myself. I always punish myself when I'm not well. I think because having the fibromyalgia, and then if it knocks me off or whatever, and then or if I'm sick on top of that, so it's like a punishment. I'm not going to be fucking sick. I'm not going to lie here and do nothing. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just going to force myself and probably end up in bed for another 4 or 5 days.
Make yourself worse.
Make myself worse.
Yeah, I've done that.
So I need to get kicked my own ass for that. Like, I really do.
Sure, your house to be spotless. Be great.
Well, this is it. I know. But I know.
Yeah, been there with the cleaning. Yeah, it's great. It's a great one. Double-edged sword, that one. You're proud of yourself when you're done. Do you know, it's like a sense of achievement?
It is.
But you're just punishing yourself.
You're punishing yourself. As I says, like, I'd be like, I can't go out the night. I need this. All needs cleaned. I even start putting my makeup on.
Yeah.
And it has to be. And then when you're walking out the door, it's as if, don't know why. It's not like nobody can't touch you or abuse you when you're out because your house is clean, but it is. It's that I went through a phase as well, getting showered vigorously. Quite a few times a day as well, and went through that for years too. So
yeah, been there 5 showers a day, scrubbing yourself to death.
Yeah, I've scrubbed myself and a lot. I think 3-4 was probably my most, but yeah, you do damage to your skin as well, and it's not healthy. But you're definitely moving through. Are you in counselling now, Lisa?
Not at the minute. Not at the minute. Now, I did go through quite a tough time there, but I think I'm coming out the other side of it now.
Yeah.
Do you know, I did have definitely a good 4 or 5 months where I wasn't well.
Yeah.
I had too much going on, I think, in my life, too much change in one go.
Yeah.
And that was quite difficult.
That can be traumatic in itself, and nobody likes change. We all have resistance towards change, and it's not easy, Lisa.
No, everything in my life just changed in 1 year.
Wow.
You know, and that was...
And then your death on top of that, you said?
Yeah, my granda, and I mean, before my granda died, as you know, Lisa sent me a text sort of apologising and not... with my family, I lost half my family.
Yeah.
When I told them, you know, that disbelief.
Yeah.
That, you know, their son or their brother could do this to you. So we didn't speak for about 7 years. So
wow,
he
Lisa.
he texted me that sort of message. I know you've seen it, Lisa, but and then passed away a month later.
Oh my
goodness. I think for a while there I did blame myself for that, not being able to see him afterwards, or
because you do. I feel when people are abused, they take on this role of responsibility. They feel it's their responsibility.
Yeah.
And I told you I had went through a disbelief to do with me being raped.
Yeah.
To do with a friend of mine. And we didn't patch it up, and that impacted me. While it was only a short disbelief from her, it really did. It impacted me, and I think that was probably why I suppressed my feelings. And I'm sure, Lisa, you know, your own family, a lot of your family not believing you, that alone is bound to have had an impact on you.
I think I've learned to cut people just out of my life.
Well, you heard me. Get the shit out of your life.
It's that just when I am done, when I get to that stage, it's just like I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, and that was it. I just didn't speak to any of them thankfully now I've made up with my family. You know, we speak often.
Yeah.
But just it was on my dad's side of the family. So I just cut them out, dead, done. Didn't speak to them again.
Even that in itself while it's healthier for you, yes, it can have an impact, obviously, because they're your family.
And not a normal response to something. That's not a normal thing to do. Just be able to cut people dead and
Lisa, this is the thing. It was your father that did the abuse, and you were, as humans, we are put on this from their you know what I mean? We're their responsibility, and you're bonded to loving them.
Yeah.
You know, that alone is, I
know it's hard. Like my dad, obviously I've told you this, Lisa completed suicide when he was 36.
Yes.
So I think
that is...
for a long time I would have been 20 then. So a lot of years that was me blaming myself. Like, did he do this because of what happened to me?
Oh, Lisa.
Do you know what he done to me? Yeah. And I took that blame on for a long time as well, and sort of lived with that. But even going to his funeral and having this feeling of like, I love this person, this is my dad.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I hate you.
Yeah.
Do you know, I really do not like you as a person. Like what you done to me was awful. And having those mixed emotions was something that I struggled with for a long time. You do realise like you're programmed to love this person, and your feelings are completely normal and completely valid. But at that time,
you didn't understand.
You don't understand that, and you beat yourself up like, I shouldn't feel this way. I shouldn't like this person. Yeah, you know, and it's a lot of that. Yeah,
we are as humans programmed to love. You're programmed to love your parents, but the thing is, we come through our parents, and I believe that you have a purpose, and I believe you choose your heart before you come here. I've said this many times. You fucking have to.
Who else gonna help you?
Well, this is it. I believe you have to. Otherwise, it couldn't be this fucking hard for us, could it?
No, I know. This is it. It has to be for something, doesn't it?
It does.
We have to do something better.
It does. You learn lessons, and you move, and you evolve as well.
You do.
You really, really do. So. Yeah, it's amazing. You are.
It is. Well, you do. I mean, it changes you as a person, but I think once you get past once you actually deal with it and you go through counselling, I do think it makes you such a strong individual.
Yes,
do you know, I wouldn't have been able to get through the past year of my life. Like, I don't know how many people could deal with that amount of change in one go.
Yeah.
Do you know? This is what sort of drives you on. You have to be strong.
You do.
Do you know what? You have to be there because you've kids to look after.
You've children to look after.
Justin, I have the 2 girls. You need to be there for them.
Yeah.
And that's what gets you through things. I think at times. But I wouldn't be half the person I am without.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why I say it often. It's why I started this podcast, because it gives something people to relate to. I mean, you think to yourself, I'm the only person.
Yeah, I'm the only person that's going through this. Yeah. I'm the only person that feels this way. And it's just for people to know that their feelings are valid.
Yes.
Do you know, that's such an important thing, you know. But hopefully people start talking about it more. Hopefully, you know, the stigma goes away and people are able to be
I hope eventually
open.
one day it does. Now, while it's more common for people to talk about it or talk about counselling and their tragedies and their traumas, it's still like a taboo, as in, you know, I remember telling people I had started therapy sort of when I came through that process of I'm not ashamed of it anymore.
Yeah.
Because you go through that. I felt in the beginning I was wild ashamed of it. I was like, oh, I'm in counselling, you know what I mean? Wouldn't tell anybody. Now I openly admit it, you know.
But that's what gets you through, you know, when you're healthy and you know when you've healed
you know
from that
when you've
part,
healed and you've moved forward.
You know how helpful counselling is, and I think it's just that having that self-awareness of knowing when you need to go back in. Do you know, and know that you're starting your certain triggers again, or certain things are coming up. And you think, right, that's it, I'm at the stage now, I need more counselling, I need help, you know. But once you get over that,
Yeah, and would it be ecstasy you would go to back to then?
Yeah, I mean, they were fabulous. I had a woman there, and she was great. She didn't make me go back. Do you know? So I didn't actually talk about what had happened to me.
Oh, right, okay.
It was just moving forward. And I think every other counsellor I had been to wanted to know everything that happened.
Yeah.
And I think for me that was really re-traumatising.
Yeah.
And something that I couldn't really speak about, or it went, you know, got to stage, you talked about it, and the next week I would have felt awful. Do you know? And then you maybe pick yourself up for a day or two and you're back into counselling again. And I couldn't really cope with that. Yeah. So doing that and being able to go through that and, you know have your counselling again and know that you're going to be okay, I think it's a good thing. I think, and everybody's different. I think maybe works for me isn't going to work for somebody else.
I know I've said that before too, because obviously I've moved into a lot of holistic therapies too. Yeah. And they have massively worked for me. Talking therapy, yes, it opened up the doors to it, but I found that the talking therapy, because obviously mine was below the subconscious age and all these toxic patterns just wouldn't go away, and all the adult stuff I had felt I'd healed from, so every time I was digging, I was like, ended up in bed for maybe half a day or the day after, just as you said, and just exhausted and fuck all talking.
emotionally
exhausted,
drained,
emotionally drained, and that's what can happen to you. Did you say you had done some holistic therapies?
Well, we would have done different bits, like done CBT and different bits like that. Yeah, and then you get to a stage where you forget them. Do you know when you've been well for a while? I think you forget, what did I do? Yeah. What did I, do you know, and I would have done things like that. And I mean, I love things like reflexology and stuff. Yes. I think that really just calms me. Yeah. Do you know, and it's just even that hour of life that you can go and have that done. Yeah. And I think, that's like, I love that. Really, really helpful for me.
Do you still do?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, brilliant. Love it. Lovely. Once a month. Once a month. But it's just that calm. I think it's just de-stressing even, do you know, and
it's about what works for you, Lisa. Yeah. Reflexology is one I don't really know much about. So tell me.
We'll have to do it. We'll go together. Yeah. Well, it's obviously just people touching your feet, but then it's related to parts of your body. Yeah. So they can tell like what's wrong with you. Do you know, like if you have
I've heard that.
If you have like a bad chest, or your legs sore, your shoulders sore. But yeah, it's fabulous. So they work on it, and then it sort of helps you. I don't know how, Lisa. I have no idea. Listen, but it's great. It's great.
Lisa, it's whatever works for you. Do you know what I mean? But I mean, because when I was telling some people that I was obviously in therapy where I was going back into my past. Now, while I wasn't reliving it, I was witnessing it. Yeah. And they're like, this is people that I know have had trauma, and they were like, I couldn't do that, Lisa. That would destroy me. Yeah. You know, you're very strong for even.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it takes a lot of bravery to go into counselling.
I needed the answers. I needed rid of the crap in my life too, and I needed to stop repeating the same crap.
Cycle, yeah. But that's it. It is just
and
vicious cycle.
Stop putting up with crap and men.
I know. Men are the worst. Like, just stay in your own.
You don't mean that, not really. Or maybe just a wee bit.
Maybe a tiny bit. No, yeah, it's crazy.
It is, but yeah, it can be hard to start a new relationship, as you know, because you obviously
really hard, and obviously explaining to somebody why you're like that, why certain things, you know, maybe freak you out, and sex is like a hard thing to
get past.
At the start, yeah.
Yeah, it can be, and obviously it's a very intimate thing, and
like I wouldn't go out and date somebody I didn't know.
Right, okay.
Which is crazy.
So that's another...
that's another thing. Like, even now, I wouldn't have felt safe to go and meet somebody. Yeah. Like, that I didn't know. It's not crazy, too.
It's not. Well, I suppose some people would look at it as in today's world where obviously you have Tinder and all them. Where it's different. It's online dating, you know, or some people is message you through Facebook or whatever. But yeah.
Viewing Facebook pickups, that was fine. Message through Facebook, message through Tinder.
I know. So you've never been on a date with anybody you haven't known?
No, not in my adult life, never. No.
Yeah.
Not somebody that didn't know.
So obviously that was the
safe.
It's
like a safe thing for me. Yeah.
So you had to date people that
could have already dated.
Wee bit like me. I kind of went backwards. I went backwards like so many years.
I know.
Yeah.
Same with me.
Found out it didn't work the second
time round. I know.
For the same kind of reasons, but only just new challenges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is it. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah. So, where was I going? I was going to tell you about a book. I was actually sent a book there last week. Hang on, what do you call it? Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. I was actually sent it by my therapist, Laura. Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. Have you read it?
Right. No, I haven't. A friend of mine done the same thing, sent me like a journal. And a book. God, what's it called? Like, I had it in my head there. Just go sit in my living room reading it in a minute. I wish somebody had told me this before. So have you ever read this?
No.
Really, really good, Lisa. So that's what I'm doing at the minute. So I'm reading it and doing like a 90-day journal. A friend of mine, Joanne, had sent me this when she knew like I was going through a wee bit of a tough time recently. Yeah. She sent me this. She says like, Lisa, do this journal, do this, read this fic. And it has helped me tremendously. It's like counselling.
Yes.
Do you know, but in a book.
Journaling is brilliant. I've talked about it before and I do actively do it and it does help. Yeah. Yesterday, I mean, I was sitting negatively journaling, sitting saying, dick, you this, you that.
You haven't got done.
And then just ripped it up. But I mean, yeah, it does. It's your mind dumping. But yeah, it does. So what's the book? What's it called?
I wish somebody had told me this before.
I must give it a go.
It's good, yeah. I'll throw it up to you.
Yeah,
I'm done with it.
Yeah,
but I know it's brilliant, and I think it's a book you can go back to as well. Do you know, you don't need to necessarily read it from beginning to end.
Yeah.
You can go through certain bits when you're going through certain times or certain challenges, and I think as long as you deal with them, as you know, Lisa, early on.
Yes.
And when they start,
yes,
instead of leaving them to fester,
yes,
you have to go into full counselling again.
You have,
yeah. If you're dealing with those wee things, I think on a daily basis or weekly basis, whatever way you deal with it, I think it can help. Books are good.
Yeah,
definitely.
I think as someone who has been through trauma, and you yourself, Lisa, we do have this thing where we judge ourselves, and and other women I have had conversations with who've been subjected to trauma. We judge ourselves, but we judge ourselves because it happened to us, and we think, why are we not perfect? Why did that? Well, that was always my thoughts around it.
I completely get that. Like, perfectionism is a thing I don't think that I'll ever get rid of.
Yeah,
do you know? And it does, and it can run you into the ground as well at times. Yeah. But yeah, no, I completely understand that. Or, do you know, even if my mum maybe says something about to me, Lisa, I think you should do this or whatever, and helping you out, good advice. I would tear myself up about that. Do you know, why am I not doing this right? Why am I not? Do you know, why am I not dealing with this? Yeah. Why am I not being the best person that I can be?
Yeah.
And then you learn like you're human.
You're human. You're human, Lisa. Yes, and you need to give yourself grace. You do.
And a break.
And a break. Yes, give yourself a break.
Give yourself a break.
Give yourself a break. And you're a mother of 2 kids. Do you know what I mean? What age is your oldest? Did you tell me?
18, Lisa.
Oh my goodness.
She's torture. No, so. God, it's today's work.
I know.
She's just like a wee mini me.
Is she?
Stuck together. Yeah, we're so close, Lisa.
Oh, that's lovely.
She's amazing.
That's lovely.
And Emily's 13, so yeah.
Yeah.
They're up a bit. So they're easier now, but they're harder. It's harder to watch them. Do you know? I
can relate. Justin's great, and he's a lovely wee personality, but in terms of like teenage, he's absolutely lazy.
Yeah.
he wouldn't backtake or anything, like, but he can just be so lazy. He just can't be bothered. Even there's a bin underneath his computer table, and he can't even be bothered lifting his sweetie wrappers from there to there.
Bin, yeah. Completely same thing. My 2 girls, I swear to God, like, they're wild. I go into the rooms once a week, Lisa, and clean.
Yeah.
And see, apart from that, like, the door's shut. I can't deal with that unless I'm looking. Do you know, like, if no plates left or something? They're in the kids' room sitting, there's no cups or glasses.
Funny, when I was on the phone to Justin's daddy yesterday, we had the same conversation. He was giving off about Justin not cleaning and Skittles everywhere, and I'm like, I actually enjoy when he goes to your house now. I used to really miss him, but I actually enjoy, so I can get into that bloody room. It takes me about an hour and a half.
Yeah, I'm the same. 2 of them. Two of them, disaster.
Like, I actually can't wait to get him out. So just go, can I please clean this? And the room. I swear the room stinks. He won't open the blinds while he's playing that blooming game.
No, mine is the same. Like, the blinds constantly closed. They're watching TV or they're sitting on their iPads or whatever. Like, it does work.
What's your oldest do, Lisa? Is she still in school?
She's still in school. She's doing A levels, Lisa,
Oh, amazing.
I know. So she wants to be an accountant. So she's been offered places. University of Ulster's one.
Wow.
One of her ones, she's going to do accounting and law. And then the second one is accounting, but it's in Northumbria. But I think she fancies it more, Lisa. I think she wants to
go in. Yeah. Oh, no. Do you know what? Northumbria is brilliant. My brother studied law there. So
did he? Yes, oh, wow. Very good.
Yeah, he studied law there, and yeah, he did really well and loved it. But yeah, it was a good excuse for me to go over and stay and party and
I think she wants to go to party, like that. God, I don't know what I'm going to do without her. Do you know that we are so close.
That's lovely, but not everybody can say that about their 18-year-old children. I know that I was a torture, like.
Yeah, me and my mum didn't get on. Still don't. Still fight with cat and dog like that. It's not gonna. It's never gonna change.
And I would say to you, your mum's lovely. And
yeah. Like, don't stay spark. Mum is stay spark.
I know, but I think it's a clash of the personalities too.
Yeah.
So it is. But yeah, me and my mum clash like mad too. A lot.
God. Well, that's good. At least I'm not the only one.
No.
I'm not the only one.
No, but it doesn't make you a bad person.
No,
it's just a clash of personalities. And then obviously you've had a hard time, and your mum's obviously had a hard time too. Do you know what I mean? So you're going to clash over emotions at times to do that as well. So it's fair. So have you any plan? What's your big plans for this year, Lisa?
Big plans? Well, I'm going to finish my house, Lisa. So I'm decorating and painting and changing bits out. So that's a day's work. It's
a day's work. I know.
Keeps me busy. So I'm doing that, and then hopefully getting a holiday. I need a holiday, Lisa, this year.
Yeah, I actually was thinking the other day, I was like, where's the weather? I need a holiday.
Yeah, but without the kids, like, I'm going to leave them here. Kids, you're not going on holiday if you're watching this.
You're not going.
We're not going away. You're staying here with your dad.
Mummy needs a holiday.
Mummy needs a holiday on her own.
Yeah.
No kids. Like, it's just
listen, I know some people wouldn't openly say it, but every parent needs a break. So they do, and you need to let the hair down, especially after what you have been through, and especially even in the last year. Do you know what I mean, Lisa? Yeah, so much change in your life. So you deserve a wee holiday.
I need a holiday. I need a break. I definitely deserve it, Lisa.
I hope your partner's listening out there. Take hint. He's
laughing. He's laughing at the background. Okay.
So, well, Lisa.
He's taking the holidays now. Let's say it on the ball.
Well, Lisa, I just want to say you are very brave, and I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
And it was an inspiration to listen to you.
But you inspired me to do this.
Oh, Lisa.
No, but I would not have been able to do this, Lisa, without you.
Oh,
that was
don't you make me cry.
No,
and I had a malfunction eyelash moment earlier.
No, honestly, you coming out and being so, like, into your story and, telling what happened, like, that to me was inspiring. That was a lot, Lisa. Like, you were went through a lot.
I know. And did you know, at the time, I didn't even realise. And when I was separating from my partner and cancelling the wedding, I was like, I wrote about it in a post. I didn't know whether to even talk about the cancellation of the wedding, but it was that emotional at the time when I done it. I was just like, what am I going to do here? And I'd obviously paid for all this production and wanted to start this. I didn't want it to be so much about that, but obviously I have to be authentic. I have to be real, and that's what I wanted. No, Lisa, thank you.
No,
that's
you're
lovely.
Amazing. You're amazing. But this is me. This is healing to me. this is part of it.
Yes, this is part of it. Not everybody can do it, but openly talking about your trauma, there's the healing aspect to it, and people can relate to you as well, Lisa.
Yeah.
So if you want to watch the podcast, you can watch the podcast at shecantransformations.com. And don't forget, we're on Spotify and YouTube. And Lisa, thank you.
No,
and give
you're
me a big
welcome.
hug.
Thank you, Lace.
Well done.